Welcome back. I can't believe it. We're at mid-year book tag time. We're halfway through the year. We're over halfway through the year. And we have so many books to talk about. So grab yourself a drink because we've got a lot of yapping to do. I also love to watch these as almost like a podcast. So if you've got some chores to do, you can always pop me on in the background and just listen while I tell you all about my favourite books of the year, books that made me happy, books that made me sad. Honestly, we've got a whole load of prompts that I'm going to talk through today. I'm going to put also the full list of all the questions that I'm answering in the description box. So if you want to answer any of these questions for yourself, then you can. It's always such a fun like stock take to do halfway through the year. Okay, before we get into answering the actual questions, just like a short recap of where I'm at so far with my reading and my reading goal, which I already know I'm behind on before I even have to check. So at the point that I'm filming this, I have read 31 books so far, which means that I am about 7 books behind my reading goal. My reading goal for the year is 80 books and we're only 31 done. So I need to pick up the pace a little bit if I want to make it to 80 books by the end of the year. My rating for books so far this year is also 3.5, which I feel like is so much lower than last year. I don't know, some of these books have not been hitting as hard. I'll go through all of my 5 stars and things when we get there, but there's not as many as last year, spoiler. So 31 books read so far out of 80, average rating 3.5, and shock, 23 of those 31 that I've read so far have been romance books. What can I say? I love love. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive straight into it, and we always begin with the hardest hitting question. What's the best book that I've read so far in 2025? And for me, my 2025 mid-year point winner had to be Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Truly, this book just has absolutely everything in it. I do think there is such a thing of overhyping something to the point that people can't enjoy it, because how could anybody or anything ever meet such expectations? But this is just one of those books that defies that rule every time. There was so much hype about this, and I just thought, how could I ever possibly enjoy it? Yet I did. I loved it. So fast-paced, action-packed, edge of your seat kind of stuff. Still a sprinkling of romance that is so addictive, whilst you basically get nothing, just like tiny little crumbs, and you're just so feral for every single one of them. Even better than the pacing and the action and the plot. Like, the plot is so strong, and the romance, like, even better than literally everything else. The found family in this is so good. A group of misfit criminals that all come together and form their own little group, and all of the relationships between each of them, like every single dynamic hits so hard. Obsessed. Best book of 2025 so far. If you haven't read it yet, get on with it. Next question, who is my fave book boyfriend of the year so far? As a romance girly, I do feel qualified to answer this question. My answer to this is a spoiler, okay? It's a slight spoiler. You're gonna see a full reading vlog of me reading this book, but like I physically couldn't choose anyone else, even though I was like, no, just pick someone else, wait till the reading vlogs come out and you can talk about him another time. I can't, I physically can't. So sorry to spoil some of my reaction to that book, because my answer to the prompt will tell you what I thought of the book, roughly speaking. But Rio in Rewind It Back, yeah, not gonna say anymore. You'll have to wait to watch the reading vlog. But Rio guys, he wins book boyfriend of 2025, probably for the entire year, but definitely first 6 months. At mid-year point, Rio yearning. You know, we've all been begging for it. This man yearns, and I'm obsessed. Next, we have best sequel of the year, and I don't actually have the book that I want to talk about, but I have the first in the series or in the duology, and my favorite sequel of the year is Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. That second book, I mean, it was an almost perfect duology for me, but the second book, Rebel Witch, specifically after The Crimson Moth or Heartless Hunter, depending on which version of it you have, so fantastic. Never have I read a truer enemies to lovers of two people that fundamentally, absolutely, completely despise everything the other person just is, and somehow a romance blossoms from that, and it hits so hard. I just absolutely loved reading a romantic duology that I felt was very different to so many others that I've read so far. It's Witch and Witch Hunter. The pacing is so good, like you will just fly through it. It feels like you are constantly on the edge of your seat, and there's something so supremely satisfying about a duology. And even though at the end of Rebel Witch I was literally gagging for more, like the way I wanted a third book, a fourth book, a fifth book, like just give me more from this world. Basically just give me more Gideon, like the man that he is. But such a perfect duology. And if you're looking for a romantasy series that will hit and that you won't feel disappointed and you won't feel as a rinse repeat of all of the others and you haven't tried this yet, give it a go. Next we have a new release that I haven't read yet but want to, and I've actually got 2 for this. Well, if I'm honest, I have hundreds for this. I feel like we've had so many new releases this year, I literally can't keep up. The 2 that I'm itching to get to, but I also don't feel like I'm gonna get to just yet, are The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I think this is gonna be so good. I loved the 1 Dark Window and 2 Twisted Crowns duology, and I just think this is gonna be, I think it's gonna be really good. I've seen such good things about it already. I'm just not in a romantasy mood. I'm not in a fantasy mood in any shape or form during the summer months. I'm just in my contemporary literary fiction era right now. So I think this is probably going to be a September read to ease me in to the autumnal months. But I'm really excited to read it, and it is a new release and I really want to get to it. And in the same vein, same reasons, Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. I think this is going to be so good. And I really want to get to it. It's just come out, but to me it also screams like an autumnal read, and I don't know if I'm going to get to like a big chunky fantasy in the summer months. We'll see how we go. Maybe I'll want like a bit of a palette cleanser to split up all the contemporary romance I'm reading at the moment. But both of these new releases that I'm really looking forward to getting to. Next, we've got most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Like I said, I feel like we are being fed with new releases this year. There's so many that I also just could not choose just one. I've got 2 new releases that I'm most pumped for. One is Wildcard by Elsie Silver. The Rosehill series hasn't been as good to me as Chestnut Springs, but I've absolutely loved it. And Wild Side, that we just had come out at the beginning of this year, was my favorite so far. And I think Wildcard's gonna be really good. The trope for Wildcard is ex's dad. So let's see. Basically, I just know that Elsie can pull off anything. So I'm really excited to read Wildcard, and I think that comes out in September. And then also out in September, my most anticipated release of the year, without a doubt, is People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. I love Hannah Bonham Young's books so much. I loved Out on a Limb, I loved Out of the Woods, and now we're getting People Watching. And the cover of People Watching is the most stunning autumnal vibes, cozy, delicious looking book. Like, I just can't wait. And like, September's my birthday month. I just feel like I'm getting my 2 most anticipated releases like as a birthday gift. I feel spoiled and very grateful. Okay, next prompt. Most of these are questions that I've done so far and that I will continue to do are like an amalgamation of other people's tags / I feel like there's usually like a pretty standard list of questions that people do for a mid-year book tag. But this one I made up for myself because you guys know how like seasonal I am with basically my entire life, and I just really wanted to see what my answers would be. So the next one we've got is, what is 1 summer, 1 autumn and 1 winter book that I want to read for the rest of the year, which are like the 3 seasons we've got left in 2025. The 1 summery book I really want to get to before the end of the summer this year is 1 Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Now, I haven't done enough research. Are there other Carly Fortune books I need to read before that? I do have a copy on my shelf of Every Summer After. Is that in the same series as 1 Golden Summer? I just happened to have a copy of this because it was my friend's and she was unhauling it, and I was like, give it to me, because I just knew that Carly Fortune was an author I wanted to read. So I need to do some research on whether I have to read other books before I can get to 1 Golden Summer. But I've seen so many good things about that book, and like everyone is screaming from the rooftops that Charlie, I think his name is like the best book boyfriend ever. I want to meet Charlie. Charlie and I need to chat, but I don't know if I can read him and the book yet. Need to look that up. But ideally, 1 Golden Summer by Carly Fortune before the end of the summer. And then an autumnal read I really want to get to this year is Emily Wells' Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is like the most spring-esque cover ever, and I did actually really want to get to this in spring, but I also think that everything I know about it, the fact that it's like a, isn't it like an academic, like it's an academia cozy romance in a way, or maybe the romance is kind of like a subplot. As far as I understand it, it's like cozy fantasy. I mean, cozy fantasy just screams autumn, even though we've got like a cute pink springy cover. So I really want to read this in like the cozy autumnal season. I just think it's going to be perfect for that. The winter book that I really want to get to this year is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This is just giving all of like the spooky, really unsettling, like literary thriller gothic. Just like basically just sounds like October, November, like to a T. Well, October especially. I want to feel a bit uncomfortable. I want to be creeped out a little bit. I want something spooky and all-consuming and just really good. I've heard fantastic things, and I love me some Shakespeare, and this is all Shakespeare oriented. So this is for winter, and then if you'll allow me to cheat slightly, because we've got summer, autumn, winter, and then I'm adding on just because I can. An extra book that I really want to read this year for the festive season, if that's allowed to be its own season, and that is One Day in December by Josie Silver. Bought this last year, didn't get a chance to read it. Everything about this just sounds like the most lovely, heartwarming, festive, December, Christmassy romance. So this is my festive one. It feels kind of criminal to even mention the word Christmas in July, but there we go. A book that was the biggest surprise, either good or bad. For me, that has to be You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. I feel wronged. I feel wronged by the bookish community, because why didn't I read this the second I bought it? Why didn't I read this the second I knew it existed? I had heard such bad things and everyone was like, oh, it's the worst one. It's everybody's least favorite one. Not me, not me, no. I feel like if I reread this, it could become a 5-star. It's really stuck with me. I loved this story. Two best friends falling in love over going on holiday with each other every single year. Dual timeline, which I don't normally enjoy, but is executed so fantastically. Have you guys seen the trailer? It's not even a trailer, the teaser trailer, the 15-second audio soundbite of the Netflix adaptation we're getting of this book in January. That little soundbite, so good. Like, I'm so pumped for this. I can't wait to watch this in January. I'm going to be insufferable. Maybe I'm gonna have to like reread this in January. Oh, actually I'm going on holiday in December, and then that will be like sunny. So maybe I could read this again. It does feel like it's a weird time of year for this to come out on TV in January. Like, it feels like it should be a summer release. But yeah, this was definitely the biggest surprise. I had such low expectations. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I thought I'd be a little bit bored whilst I read it, or just not that connected to them. I think Book Lovers is probably my least favorite, and I still enjoyed it, but I just wasn't gripped by it, or it was just like a nice time. I thought that's what this would be, but I loved it. I really think that if you love funny story, you'll also love this. I think this is very funny story coded. Nothing about the plot is the same as funny story, like, at all. It's just a vibe thing. It's a vibe thing. Next we have favorite new author, debut, or new to you. I've actually read quite a few new authors this year, but I had to give it to Kerry Lake. I've read 2 books by Kerry Lake so far this year, Anathema and Nocticadia, and both of these were so fantastic and so different. We've got a like dark academia romance, which is very dark and gothic and so atmospheric. A truly morally grey or morally black male main character who absolutely does terrible things, but we love him anyway. His nickname is literally Dr. Death. But like, nothing fantasy about this at all, to like a pretty epic fantasy with a huge amount of world building, very complex magical systems. I think we've barely scratched the surface of all that is to come with this setup, this fantasy world. The next book is coming out very soon. I just think these are so different and really showed like the full scope of what Kerry Lake is capable of, and it makes me so excited for her future books. Kerry Lake, new to me, debut, and because I think, are these her debut? This was definitely her debut fantasy as well, so kind of ticks all the boxes for that prompt. Kerry Lake. Next up, we have a book that made me cry. Anyone that's for the reading vlog knows there's like really only one answer to this question, because I was wrecked. I was literally sobbing. I think it's the most I've ever cried to a book, and that is Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. Fans of Little Women, you need to read this. It's a story of 4 sisters living in, I've already forgotten where they live, a close-knit Italian-American neighborhood. I actually can't remember where it is though, which is terrible. But it's 4 sisters and you're basically following their lives. There's a lot of tragedy in this, but it's also extremely heartwarming. But oh my gosh, did it just wreck me. If you want one of those books that like really stays with you, if you're one of those people that loves a book that makes you cry, it's not that this is like a fully sad book. It's not. Like, it is heartwarming, but there are definitely very sad things that happen to the family. Like, it's a very real life kind of a book. Yeah, I'm like still probably not fully recovered, but this was a book that made me cry. On the flip side of that, we have a book that made me happy. I honestly feel like Christina Lauren is going to take the cake every single time for this prompt. I'm pretty sure last year my answer to this was The Paradise Problem, and this year my answer to this is The Unhoneymooners. Christina Lauren, they're just funny. Like, they're just funny and they make me laugh, like laugh out loud laugh. I have read quite a few books this year that made me laugh out loud, but this one I'm giving it to. If you want like a fun time, if you want to just really enjoy yourself whilst you read a great book, if your mental health is maybe not in a great place and you need a bit of a pick-me-up, pick up a Christina Lauren. Like, you'll have a ball. I loved this. this. Two people that don't like each other that have to go and share a honeymoon package together, coexist in a hotel room. You've got all the great tropes that you can possibly imagine that come under the roof of forced proximity, and it's a whale of a time. Most beautiful book that I bought this year, I am gonna give that to The Night and the Moth. I mean, these sprayed edges, I'm not always a sprayed edges girly, but the way that the sprayed edges also like wrap around the whole book, I mean, look at that, insane, like absolutely beyond stunning. And even just this front cover is beautiful. Not to be that girl, because I am aware this is annoying, but I do actually have one that might take the cake that I just bought, but I really want to haul it for you properly. Well, I have already hauled it for you properly for next week's video, so that one would actually probably win, but I can't spoil that one for you. Like, you'll see it in the haul, it's stunning. And also look out for it if you do watch next week's video. There's a part of the book that's like underneath the dust cover that I didn't even spot when I was filming it for you guys, and that bit underneath is beautiful, and I can't believe I didn't notice it, but you can kind of see it when I'm filming, like the inside. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Wait till next week to see that book. But otherwise, I mean, this is stunning. So The Night and the Moth, for now, wins this prompt. Okay, time to lock in books that I need to read by the end of this year. Serious stuff. These books have to be read by the end of 2025. Number 1, Crooked Kingdom. Am I putting this off because I'm terrified? Yes. I'm also putting it off because I read a spoiler about it, a pretty massive spoiler about it, and that put me in a really bad mood, and I'm still really disappointed that I know that spoiler because of how much I love Six of Crows. So I'm trying to get over that before I read this. I know it's not really going to matter, I know that, but it also kind of does matter because it was quite a big spoiler, and but I can't unknow something, so I just have to get over myself and read the damn book because I know how much I'm gonna love it. I really want to do like a full spoiler reading vlog of reading this so we can truly read it together. If you haven't read the first book yet, Six of Crows, but you might want to watch my full spoiler video of me reading the second one to wrap up the series, or like wrap up the duology, then now's your sign. Get on with reading Six of Crows so that we can read this together. But I am gonna read this by the end of the year. I kind of know I'm gonna be obsessed with it. It's probably gonna slump me out for the rest of time, so I'm just not ready yet. But the first one is Crooked Kingdom, and the second one is the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. I just think this is just meant to be so good. I bought it last year. In fact, I even think I bought it like really early on last year. I still haven't gotten to it yet. This is also the perfect October read. 5 little books in one, or maybe they're not even little books, but it's 5 books in one. I can't read it any other time of the year other than October, for whatever reason in my mind. But I guess it's because it's like about a serial killer and the policeman that's chasing her, I think. I actually can't remember. I don't even care. I just know I'm really gonna like it, whatever it's about, and I really want to read it. So those are the two that I have to read them both by the end of the year. Otherwise I'm gonna be very disappointed in myself. A book that I want to reread this year. I've actually just come off a bit of a rereading streak, which is also in a reading vlog that's coming soon, and I've just been rereading a couple of like my favorite books. It kind of just happened, I fell into it, and now I'm kind of obsessed with rereading my favorite books. I almost wish that's like all I could do for the rest of time, is just reread all my favorites, but you don't develop favorites without trying new books. Anyway, the main one on my list for like relatively soon is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I think there've just been so many signs that have been pointing me back towards reading this. Reading You and Me on Vacation and loving it. The fact that I'm in my contemporary romance era during the summer months. This gave such strong summery vibes and I loved it. So I really want to read this again and see if it hits as hard as it did last year. This was a 5-star read for me, and I'd be interested to see if it remains a 5-star, if it turns into a 6-star, or if it kind of like slips down the ratings a little bit because the magic isn't quite there the second time you read it. I don't know, but really want to reread this like soon. August. I want to read this in August. Okay, on the flip side of books that I'm excited to read, books that I've been putting off and that I'm still avoiding reading. I've actually got 3 for this prompt. I feel like the TBR is usually filled with books that I'm avoiding reading, but I've got 3. First one is Fresh Water for Flowers by Valerie Perrin. I think this will be so good. The reason I've been putting it off is because I think it's gonna make me cry. I think it's gonna give the same energy as Hello Beautiful, and I think it has the possibility to devastate me in the same way. I just think it's gonna be very melancholic, and honestly I'm just really bad at reaching for books that I know are gonna be sad. Sometimes I think I should just stop buying them, but I also do want to push myself out my comfort zone. The story basically follows Violette, and she works at a cemetery, and it's basically the story of a woman who fundamentally believes in happiness and joy, but deals with a lot of death and grief, and how moved she is by some of the stories that she gets to learn about and experience through her work at the cemetery. I mean, how could a book that is literally centered around like death in that way not be very sad, but equally I think it is supposed to be extremely heartwarming because it is about a woman who so fundamentally believes in, it says here, the poetic in the ordinary. But then there are these words all over here, like bittersweet. A moving story of one woman's belief that everything will turn out right. A tender and poignant exploration of love, loss, and redemption. I just think it's one of those books that's going to wreck me. So avoiding this, but also really want to read it. Similar reasons for The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is also one that I've been kind of avoiding. I haven't actually had this book for that long, but I feel myself avoiding it. I keep putting it on my TBR, or I did put it on my TBR for last month. I didn't get to it. I am wondering whether I've kind of made a mistake with buying this book, because beyond the fact that I know it's going to be sad, I also don't love books about war. I've just never really enjoyed war stories. I don't know why they always like, well, obviously I know why war is a terrible thing, but there's just something about war stories that I really don't like. Like I don't like watching war movies or anything like that either. I think I just bought it because it's one of those books that you've seen everywhere and everybody says is, you just have to read it. Also because it's about sisters, and like I've got a sister, and the thought of us being like torn apart, or I don't know, I think I really struggle with that as well. So I don't know whether I've made a mistake buying this one. I think maybe I could have actually bought a different Kristen Hanna book to start with and maybe worked my way here. Or like, you don't have to read every book that's popular. So I don't know, I'm still avoiding this one, and I don't know when I'm going to get to it. As you can probably tell from the vibes, like it's probably going to be a while, but I will read it eventually. And then the third book that I've been putting off is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Again, I'm not saying this was a mistake purchase, but I've heard so many, like, I don't even want to say mix, I kind of just want to say negative things about this. And maybe it's more the fact that all of the reviews that I've heard of people that have found things wrong with the book, I think are all the things that I'm going to find wrong with it. Sometimes I'll listen to people's criticisms of a book and I'll think like, that would never bother me. Like that doesn't bother me. I'll enjoy that anyway. That doesn't factor to me. Whereas some of the criticism of this, I've been like, yeah, like I'm not going to enjoy that. Like that's not going to be for me. So I'm kind of avoiding this one just because I don't think I'm going to love it that much. I think it's just going to be very like mid. I just see this as like a 3-star book, but too harsh to judge when I haven't actually read it myself. We'll see when I get to it. Let me know if you loved it, and you can maybe redeem it in my eyes a little bit and make me more excited to read it. Next, such a fun one. How many 5-star books have I read this year, and what are they? This is always the question that I go like straight to when I watch these mid-year book tags, because I'm like, tell me the books that I need to put on my TBR right now, because the 5-star ones you don't want to miss. So I have had 6 5-star books so far this year. Like I said, it's been not the best bookish year for me compared to last year. I think last year I had something like 19 5-star reads, but that was because I read like all of Throne of Glass and like all of ACOTAR, and I just, so many of those were 5 stars for me. So 19 is obviously a super high number, but 6 is feeling a little sad. But anyway, 6 is still 6. So 6 of Crows, don't need to talk about this. Obviously, this was on the list. Next, we have The Dixon Rule. I loved this book. This is the second book in the spin-off series from the Campus Diaries. This is like the next gen series called, no, this one's called the Campus Diaries series. The first series is called the Off-Campus Diaries, right? Oh, I'm getting all confused now. Anyway, this is the second book in the spin-off Next Gen series. This is so good. This is Shane and Diana's story. He's obviously a hockey player. She's a cheerleader. It's just so funny. This one feels a lot less like college uni-esque than the others because it takes place in the summer between the two like semesters, but it's so good. It's so funny. I was literally howling with laughter whilst reading this. Also probably the spiciest book I've ever read, but like not in a way that just feels like brain rotting smut, like just in a way that's like really funny and sexy, and like the vibes are so high. It was just 5 stars. I don't know what to tell you. This was just such a good book. Next we had cutesy better than the movies. It was exactly perfect for a YA romance that was sweet and wholesome. Obviously it's YA, so there's zero spice. It's just lovely. I loved all of the rom-com movie elements to it. It just felt so perfectly written for me as somebody that loves my rom-coms, that's seen all of the classics, and to have quotes from all of my favorite movies starting off every single chapter in this book just kind of felt like too good to be true to be in a little book. So then Circe, this is my second Madeline Miller after Song of Achilles that I've read. I read this right at the beginning of the year. I think it was actually one of my first books of the entire year, and it still stuck with me. The audiobooks of Madeline Miller's work are fantastic. She picks truly brilliant narrators. Really just a story about the strength of woman and a flawed individual who wants to see the good in the world and wants to do her best, and the struggle of woman against man. Even if you're a goddess, you can't avoid some of the darkness of living in a man's world. Love, loss, family, motherhood, like really, some of these books, like 5-star for vibes. 5-star masterpiece. Different, both 5 stars, but this is a 5-star masterpiece. This is a 5-star for vibes. And then finally, Out of the Woods. I don't think I loved this quite as much as Out on a Limb. Out on a Limb was probably like a 6-star read for me, but Out of the Woods, it was just so lovely. It's a short book, a story about a couple that have already been together for 15 years, but have lost themselves a little bit on the way. In particular, you're following Sarah's story, and she is feeling like she hasn't hit all the milestones that she wanted to in her life, or she's feeling like she hasn't lived up to her potential. They basically go on a wilderness retreat that's kind of like a marriage counselling retreat. There's like this long hike, and all of the other characters in this are so well fleshed out and are so funny, and I just love the way Hannah Bonham Young writes. I think you either get it or you don't, and for me, I get it, and it just tugs on my heartstrings every time, and I feel like there are such lessons in life and lessons in love in all of these books that I just am feral at underlying things, being like, yes, like I want that, that's how I want to think, and that's how I want to treat my partner, that's what I want my love to look like, and that's the commitment to success that I want to have in my relationship. I could go on and on, you can tell. So I'm excited for people watching. This was definitely a 5-star. And then the 6th one that I don't actually have the copy of is Rebel Witch, which is the 2nd book in the Crimson Moth duology. That final book was just, the first book gave 4.5, the 2nd book, slam dunk of an ending on a way. It was right up until the final page. So good. Only 2 questions left. Okay, second to last question. A book that I enjoyed with mixed reviews. I could obviously kind of say You and Me on Vacation for that, but instead, or as well, I am gonna say Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I'm sorry, I don't know if I should be embarrassed about this because of how much people said this was just awful, but I really enjoyed this. Another one where the audiobook of this is really, really good. It's done so well. If I'm not mistaken, it was Duet. In fact, I'm almost certain it was Duet. Done so well. I loved it, and I gave this book 4 stars. Like, I really enjoyed their relationship. I think the characters were really well developed. I liked the plot. It was just like a really solid contemporary romance where you want like a bit of swoon, a good time. Yeah, Rue and Eli, like workplace rivals kind of trope. I just really enjoyed it. Like, just if you're looking for a good contemporary romance, give this a go. Like, am I crazy? I really enjoyed it. And then final question, I can't believe we're at the end. Final question are my 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. I want a strong second half of 2025, okay? We've had 6 5-stars so far, and I'm predicting another 5 for the rest of the year. I'd love there to be more than that, but there are 5 books that I think chances are very high that they could be 5 stars for me. Book 1 is Crooked Kingdom. Again, don't need to talk about that. Second one is The Night in the Moth. I've seen such good things. Loved One Dark Window. Loved Two Twisted Crowns. I really feel strongly that The Night in the Moth could be a 5-star for me. 3, again, you probably guess what all these are going to be. People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. She's just been a 5-star author with every book I've read of her so far, even if there's only 2. So let's see if we can make it a trifecta of 5 stars and People Watching. 4, Wildcard. I don't know why, I just have such good vibes from Wildcard by Elsie Silver so far. Wild Side was like 4.75 for me. Like, it was so close to a 5-star, and something about Wildcard, I just think it's gonna just like tip me over the edge to that 5-star territory. And then the final one is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm yet to read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I didn't love. Even Carrie Sota, which was my least favorite, I think that's still got like 4.5 or something in that region. And I'm hearing rave reviews about Atmosphere, so I've got it, haven't read it yet. I think that's gonna be another slam dunk of a 5-star, but that is it. Please let me know, most importantly, if you've got any 5 stars that you think that I would love, that I should get to the end of this year. I really want to bring my average yearly rating up from 3.5. It feels a bit sad. The fact that I've had so many 2-star books this year, I'm sure that I'm just getting pickier, and I'm sure that I'm just getting more particular about what books I like, but I want some more good ones. So please let me know if you've got any 5 stars I need to add to my list. But honestly, let me know your answers to all these prompts. Like, what books did you find disappointing this year? What books are you most looking forward to the second half of the year? These are my favorite videos to just chat all about the books in the comments. So let me know where you're at this point in the year. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. For those of you that have been like watching me, I'm sorry the lighting has been so bananas during this video. The sun is all over the place today, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you're in the middle of such a lovely book. It's really all I could wish for my bookish besties. I hope you have the loveliest week, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Next week's video is a good one. Okay.